Cullen Brothers Racing Formula Powerboat team have raced in over 300 events now. We hold the Australian J3 Championship for 2012, the Australian J3 Grand Prix Champions for the 2012 season, held over 5 events across the east coast of Australia. Our latest project is a 550 Supersport and a Formula 3 for the series. The Formula 3 is now in development. It's having a 31M race engine prepared for it and should be ready for the new series beginning at the end of 2013. Formula Powerboat racing can be a very unpredictable and dangerous sport. Formula 1, 2 and 3 drivers are strapped into a composite cell built for safety to protect the driver. They are strapped into a 5-point race harness in which they have to be able to get themselves free and clear of the wreckage. In the event that they may be knocked unconscious, a diver needs to remove them from these harnesses. We found that the metal harnesses do suffer from corrosion and do build up sharp edges and sometimes will foul. This is a very bad situation for the diver trying to rescue a driver and the driver himself. We found that by lubricating our buckles on these harnesses with Type A grease, not only lubricated the buckles, but also gave you a level of grip on the buckle in underwater situations to release those harnesses and allow them to fall away from your body, enabling the driver to get free. Spraying petrochemical products that become slippery in the cockpit is very dangerous. The driver must be able to grip the release, remove the release and get out of the boat quickly. We started a new project, 550cc Yamato, to run in the 550cc Championship. This is our new project. This is a 550 Supersport class boat. We run a 302 Yamato Japanese purpose-built race engine. It's the biggest outboard racing class in the world. Every Yamato engine is circuit raced in Japan for 1 year, rebuilt and then sold to teams around the world. This engine came from Japan and was raced in South Australia for 2 years. It was sold to a team in Queensland where it was in a very big crash and the engine went to the bottom with the boat. After the recovery, they were never able to get the RPM out of this engine again and it was left in a shed for 1 year. We purchased this engine in 2013 and we had 2 weeks to have this engine ready for a big race meet on the Hawkesbury River in Sydney. It had a failed ignition system, seized steering swivel bracket, seized clamp screws, corrosion and a very badly seized gearbox. It looked like we were only going to be able to use this engine for spare parts. We persevered with Lenatec products. We used general purpose heavy duty liquid linen on all the seized parts to see if we'd have a chance with this engine. Heat was used on the gearbox and the steering shafts and we were very happy that there was no flare up and fume that you'd get from petrochemical products. The engine internals and block were soaked overnight in Lenatec Power Wash. This removed all the old corrosion spots, grease, carbon, oil, salt. The parts were hosed off and flash dried in minutes and no need to blow off with air. We coated the bearings, rods, pistons with general purpose lanolin, including the cylinder bore. This did not run off like oil, so we were able to leave the engine for next day assembly. While the engine's being rebuilt, we decided to pour a cup of timber seal into each of our timber sponsons and roll the hole over and up and down to protect the ply from right on the inside where we couldn't get to, and condensation can build up and cause soft spots in the hull, which can be very dangerous. We also applied it to the stringers and the timber transom where fresh water can sit and cause rot to the timber. Just as an experiment, we wiped the timber seal on the underside of our sponsons. Water drag is the most common force to slow a tunnel boat down. We assembled the engine using Type A grease as an anti-seize on all the studs, bolts and the electrical stator O-ring. Before putting the boat in the water for its first test, we coated our freshly built power head, the heavy duty. You can see the film of protection on this block. Another important component of our powerboat racing team are our tow vehicles and trailers. They can spend hours in the water over a season. To keep costs down on costly repairs and rust, we coat our axles and springs, Lenatec heavy duty, and on the tow vehicle we'll use UP on the differential, springs and axles and underside of the vehicles. This is good insurance against costly repairs down the track. The results are the Lenatec products that help save this engine and the tunnel hull now protected in one of the harshest environments on the water. 7 centimetres of throttle, 7,000 RPM, 0 to 100 kilometres in just seconds, no engine cowling, water going everywhere. When you race like this, what you put on the outside is just as important as the work done on the inside. So now I'm part of all our rebuild procedures. Thank you, Lenatec.
Fanatec products can protect our boats. Think about what they can do for yours. Oh, and Mr. Newling, we are looking for sponsors.